Many students who struggle with learning have a difficult time memorizing math facts or remembering the steps in a process. And that's partially due to a long-term memory difficulty. And then there's weak teaching. Sometimes we don't know exactly how to teach what it is we're teaching. And if that goes on for a period of time, we create what looks like a math disability when it really isn't a disability. And in that case, we should be able to catch the child up with some proper curriculum and instructional tools. Reading difficulty makes interpreting math problems and directions hard. So inability to read or reading difficulty definitely affects math progress as well. Then language processing difficulty makes it difficult to understand directions. Visual spatial difficulties make it hard to distinguish between shapes such as pentagons and octagons. Makes it difficult to distinguish size and relationship as well. So those are just a few of the issues or difficulties that can come up that may cause math problems. And now, because math facts are such an area that needs attention for struggling learners, I want to offer some tips in that area. Number one is work on it daily, because the exposure, the frequency of the exposure, the repetition is all key to them learning their facts. They may not learn in a usual way. Some days will be more productive than others. That's the way it works with struggling learners. That one day we think they've got it, and the next day we come back and it's not there. But that is why overlearning the facts is so important for these kids. You want to work for just a brief time, 5 to 10 minutes. That's 10 minutes is probably pushing it. So keep it brief. Don't overwhelm kids with a full page of math facts. Work up to that. Definitely work up to that. But to begin with, you want to fold the paper line by line, or 2 lines if your child can handle it. But I would start most kids with 1 line and move to 2 lines, and then gradually a half page and then a full page. And then using flashcards. A common mistake is to take the whole bundle of flashcards and flash all of them at our children. And that's fine if a child is not a struggling learner. However, with a struggling learner, we want to take a small set, maybe 5 problems, flashcards to work on. So again, that we're not overwhelming the child. And make sure they're flashcards of facts that the child has worked on. Not we don't want to throw any 8s or 9s in there if they've only learned up to the 3s, okay? And then practice flashcards first by having your child read aloud the whole problem and answer side a few times before expecting your child to know the answer. And so if the problem is 6 times 7, you want them to see the side that says 6 times 7 is 42. We want the problem and the answer, and we want them to see it over and over, say it over and over before they're expected to read the problem without the answer and give us the problem, or give us the answer. Before they see the problem that says 6 times 7 and they have to give the answer on their own. We want them to see the whole problem several times. Those are just a few of the suggestions or tips for working with math facts. And now reading problems. Some areas that cause problems in reading are mentioned here, and one is long-term memory again. Long-term memory, like with math facts, also affects sight word learning. So children often who struggle often with one or the other, struggles with both. So we have children who are trying to learn their facts and struggling with it, as well as struggling with sight words that they're trying to keep in memory as well. Again, long-term memory has an effect on that. Phonological awareness difficulty. Now, phonological awareness is understanding the sounds and how to manipulate sounds in words. And it's really at the sound level, it's not about really seeing the letters, but really understanding the sound. So if I said to you, say the word slit, and you said slit, and I said, now say the word slit without the ol, and you would say sit. What you've done is you've manipulated those sounds. You've deleted out a sound and made a different word. And that's a pretty high level of phonological awareness, or phoneme awareness. What we need from children is for them to be able to look at the letters and sounds in order and come up with a word after they've said the sounds. We want to blend that into a whole word. Then we have language processing difficulties. If a child has language processing difficulties, they have trouble receiving, understanding, and expressing language, which makes reading difficult and reading comprehension difficult. Then there's oral reading fluency. If oral reading is too slow, it's going to affect how a child understands what they're reading. So we need children to read at a rate which is within a range for each grade level, but we need them to read at those levels in order for them to be able to comprehend text well. And so if reading fluency is an issue, that's something, again, that should be worked on daily. Practicing reading with really easy reading material can help kids immensely become stronger oral readers. And then there's visual acuity, and that's simply getting a vision, making sure that their vision is what it should be for reading. So making sure that they can see the words effectively is all that visual acuity is. Language comprehension difficulties. If a child has difficulty understanding oral language, he's going to have a difficult time understanding what he's read as well. And then again, with reading, we have weak teaching. We want to make sure that we're offering the best kind of teaching we can so that we don't have a child that looks like they have a learning disability when they really don't. So in terms of instruction and curriculum, the instruction should be very clear or explicit. The instruction should be systematic, very orderly, and it should be intensive. So for a child within grade level range, you don't need intensive instructional materials, but for children who are struggling, we do need very concentrated, very thorough materials or programs to work with. Children who struggle learning to read often respond better to programs that are multisensory. So they take into account visual, auditory, kinesthetic, and tactile. A really important thing to remember with children who struggle to learn is that we should assume nothing. Often we assume kids should know things or get things. We don't even think that they wouldn't know that. But really we have to set our mindset so we're thinking that the child doesn't know this, so we're going to teach them to do it the correct way. If you have questions or comments that haven't been answered in this presentation, you're welcome to contact me at this email address and this phone number. You will be having an online quiz, I believe, to end this, and also you have your assignment that of goals that you're going to hand into your ES to finalize this training. Thank you.